another episode of Cyber People Talks. Today, we have Mr. Joris den Bruinen, who is the Director of Security Delta. In this episode, we're going to talk about what is the importance of private-public partnerships in cybersecurity. How can organizations build their cyber resilience? We will also touch upon our favorite talent gap issue that we've been facing for almost a decade now, and much more. So if this topic is of your interest, then please do watch this episode. Hi, Joris. Welcome to Cyber People Talks.
Well, thank you for having me.
So happy to have you today. How are you?
Really good, really well. Just had my holidays, being at the Olympics in Paris, having the spirits, but now being back here in the Netherlands, in The Hague, and going back into business of Security Delta, yes.
Oh, lovely. That's so good. So the idea is, Joris, to know more about your story. How did it all start? How did you get to where you are today? So our viewers know, what does it take to reach to a director level?
Yeah. Okay, thank you. I started my career in HR, recruitment, headhunting, as you are doing nowadays. Then I've been on the private and the public side. In the end, I became the right-hand advisor of a high-level civil servant. From that, I changed careers and I became the advisor for the mayor of The Hague, Mr. Joris van Aartsen. And The Hague is a city already known for decades as the international city of peace and justice. And from the economic point of view, they wanted to correlate also security to it. Because peace and justice, it's mainly institutional, so it's government organizations. But in the field of cybersecurity, well, the viewers know and you know, it's also the private side involved. The mayor was sitting with the CEOs and the board presidents of knowledge institutes, of government agencies from economic affairs and security and justice, and businesses like Thales, KPN, the Dutch telco, Fox IT. And they had conversations on cybersecurity that especially if it comes to protecting critical infrastructure and national security, that government cannot do it on their own. They need to collaborate because critical infrastructure, it's privatized. Companies that also relate to cybersecurity are, of course, private. So they said, well, we need each other to being ahead of the challenges in the field of cybersecurity. And the city of The Hague, they wanted to extend the profile, fitting the DNA of peace, justice, and security. And they said, well, we might need each other or help each other. Let's set up a foundation, take Security Delta, and see if we can collaborate and innovate together towards a future to be more resilient. And on the other hand, have a growth of jobs in The Hague, in the region of South Holland and the Netherlands. So that's how it all started, sitting around the table, me being next to the mayor. And then at the very first beginning of the foundation, they asked Rob de Wijk, who's a well-known person from television, and he's in the field of national security and international relations, also being a professor at the University of Leiden. So he was the first director. And then they said, well, we need also someone who understands what we are talking about, but also operates things. And then they all looked at me and said, well, maybe you can do the practical stuff. And since 5 years, I'm the director. So we changed governance. I'm the director nowadays. But this is how it all started. And sometimes you have to go for something that's new and then see what it brings you. And of course, you have to add something. I know something about organizations and people. I know something about decision making. I can do something from the different perspective from private side and public side. I can influence and bring people to the table and let them stay on the table to collaborate together. So that's the story so far.
That's amazing. And you've come really, really far. So How many companies have you collaborated with until now?
In total, we have 300 plus organizations. So it's not only businesses, but it's also the education and knowledge institutes and also government and government agencies. So in total, it's more than 300.
And what does it take for you to go to a company, or what should a company have to be able to qualify to have this kind of collaboration?
Yeah, that's really easy. You have to be in the field of digital security, so it's a bit broader than cybersecurity. Can relate to AI or to public safety as well, mostly related to the digital parts of it. But if you're in this field as an organization or as a business, you can become a member. We have membership fees, so there's an annual fee involved in it. But if you want to be part and share your knowledge and collaborate on making organizations and our country more cyber resilient and profit from it, but understanding that you have to bring something to gain something, then you could become partner of our ecosystem.
So, for my understanding, Joris, the companies, what they're going to get out of it is the network,
Yes, knowledge,
knowledge,
talent, possibly finance for doing innovative projects, and we help them to set up consortia. Probably of also capital for growth, so startups and scale-ups able to grow fast and need capital for that. We align between the funds and venture capitalists and those who are willing and able to grow fast. And also we help them by going collectively to the international market. So our proposition is providing access to knowledge as the base of innovation, access to talent, access to finance and capital, and access to market.
Oh, lovely. So these are all the big fives that you need to be successful as an organization, right?
Yes.
Right. So talking about talent here, how do you provide talent to the organizations? Do you have collaborations like you mentioned with the universities?
Yeah, we do. We do it on different levels. First of all, I wanted to make things practical because all those organizations that are partnering with us and paying an annual fee, they want to gain from it. And the easy part is showing all the possibilities to all the talent on vacancies, on internships, and on training and professional education, public and private education. So we did set up a platform, securitytalent.nl, showcasing all those things mentioned. And well, first it was just a few vacancies and a few people, but nowadays we have more than 80,000 people on yearly basis that visit the platform, and almost 20% goes via this platform to the vacancy, the internship, the training, or the education, because they're interested in digital security, and we have the platform to bring talent and the request for talent together. So that's a practical thing, and that's also career advice and possibilities and stepping stones in careers and how it correlates to education and training. So and career stories, etc. So it's really a platform to bring together demand and supply in the field of talent. That's one part, practical. And the other thing is that we have set up what we call a human capital agenda. And it's not only, well, it's written by us, but it correlates to the possibilities what other organization partners of us can bring to the table or want to gain from the table. But it's really, they need each other for filling in the talent gap. So there we created policies and interventions and ideas to hopefully help a little bit for filling in this talent gap. And we created this last year for the third time, so it was a third agenda. There's also implementation with it. About 70 of our partners support this agenda and add to what they can bring to this agenda and to do in the implementation of the interventions. So that's two different parts. Then out of all those interventions, sometimes we do set up projects, and sometimes we participate. Sometimes it's just for our partners. But we recently set up a huge consortium and project for filling in the talent gap in the province of South Holland. There was a possibility of the National Growth Fund and the project of Catapult, it's called, to really make a difference in this field of cybersecurity if it comes to talent. So we have a big project, and in total, the investment involved is 17 million, so 17 euros. And 7 out of that, it's a subsidiary from the central government, the National Growth Fund, to organize this project and, well, to really bring things from the agenda into practice to make a difference.
Mm. And the organizations that are participating in this kind of an agenda, are they from the Netherlands or are they international?
They are from the Netherlands, but could also be international businesses having an office in the Netherlands, being participating in this agenda. But it's really, well, it's national-wide, and there's support also more and more on it from central government, regional government, and local government. But we really need each other.
Yeah.
Filling in the talent gap, it's really easy from businesses or government organizations who need the talent. They say, well, education needs to solve the problem. But the educational institutes, they have a lack of good talent, for example, teachers as well. So the businesses and government agencies should bring in teachers to teach the talent, to get the talent. That's what I mean by bringing something to gaining something. So we did set up the idea of a hybrid teacher, so they can work for business or government, but also doing, for example, 1 day a week education at university or University of Applied Science, or, well, in the Netherlands, the MBO, the more practical stuff.
Very interesting. I think these are some great initiatives to shape our future, right?
Yeah.
Talking about the talent, I do have one more question. Now, because you do so much of research and you are, surrounded with so much of young talent, what do you think is going to get obsolete as a skill within cybersecurity, or what is it that's going to stay for our young talent, whosoever is watching this podcast?
Well, really important. Well, cybersecurity started off by people thinking it's just about IT and IT security. But actually, it's about risk management, and it's a multidisciplinary field. So also, if it comes to talent, you need lawyers, you need people who are in business or in policies and governance. You need people who are tech-wise. But really important for talent that they understand and having an expertise themselves, but also understand that they need the other to have the combined expertise to make sure that it's part of risk management and that it really gains something to the cyber resilience of an organization or a chain or a whole sector or the whole field in a country. They need each other. So that's gonna stay, that they really understand where is my lack of expertise and where can I bring in the expertise of others. So you need to have this holistic view on cybersecurity. That's gonna stay for sure. And the other thing is the internet and our connections, they don't stop at the borders of our countries. So we need to align on international level as well, collaborate, but also have the talent from abroad and collaborate. Yeah.
Nice, interesting. Yeah. So going back to the partnership, the private and the public partnership, we spoke about what can companies get out of getting into this collaboration. But from the other side, what are the benefits that a government would have getting into this collaboration?
Well, first of all, they get the knowledge from the private side, because we make sure that there's what we call knowledge circulation, that we bring in all the knowledge needed. So that's one thing. They can have the outside in view on what they're doing. They can use this for setting up policies, but also understanding, because it's not about policies and agendas. It's about doing stuff in practical in the world, or the digital world, but you need to do stuff to be resilient. And that's not setting up papers or policies. So you can gain from the knowledge from the private side towards what you need to do in your task at a government side. And then if it comes to, for example, cyber resilience in the whole of the Netherlands, it's not only about government, it's also about having cyber resilient in sectors and chains, and in the end, any business that's out there. Because a really small business could connect somehow to a government agency or to a big business, and that could be the entrance of the problems and having the attack or stuff like that. So to bring it on a higher level of resilience, we need to collaborate, and we can help the government out and government agency to do so. And then there's a last thing, we help them out to innovate together. And there's not only innovation for businesses, there's also innovation for government agencies, helping them out to set up new ideas into practice. For example, using AI for the cyber defense. We relate to all organizations doing something in this field of AI and digital security, and helping also government agencies to deal with their challenges.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Interesting. I'm going to move on to the recent outage that happened at CrowdStrike. What's your opinion on that? And second part would be, how can organizations be more cyber resilient?
Well, my opinion on it is that it shows how dependent we are on our digital world, also in the physical world, because it had consequences. Airports not bringing people into planes and taking off. It was hospitals, they had to postpone surgery, etc. So it had real consequences. That's what it showed for sure. It was not a cyber attack. It was a software mistake with the update, but it related and it had downtime on so many digital systems. It can help us because we had to deal, and many organizations had to deal with this problem, and it was like a cyber crisis. So they could practice for possible future cyber crisis as well. So we better use it and learn from it, and make sure that if we practice, that we understand how our systems works, how the digital system correlates, how we can solve problems. So hopefully in the future, there will be less downtime of systems within, well, the airports, but that's not so important if it comes to me. But if it comes to hospitals, it's really important to have less downtime than it was now. And this was an international problem. But yesterday we had a problem here in the Netherlands. The network of the Ministry of Defense was down, also probably caused by a mistake in software code, maybe an update, we don't know yet. They're still searching for the really exact thing. But it caused problems for many organizations, government-related organizations, who are also using this Ministry of Defense network. There you see that it's not only about the hardware, it's about the software. It's all interdependent. We're vulnerable if it comes to our practical daily things. So we better make sure that we have backups also, not only in the software backups or the data, but also in the networks, that we make sure that there are possibilities to come by or to have less downtime, and also in that way being more resilient if it comes to cyber attacks.
Yeah, yeah. Talking about cyber attacks, which sector do you think is the most vulnerable to cyber attacks, or have been, or is there any sector?
Yeah, well, actually, there's no one single sector that's more vulnerable than the others. Of course, our financial sectors, they are more matured if it comes to cyber resilience because it's their business, it's the money, and they already know for more than a decade that they're banks, but they're actually big IT companies. But more and more sectors became more aware that they have to deal with stuff because we digitalize anything. For sure, our critical infrastructure, but more and more we need to see that all our businesses and chains are more matured if it comes to cyber resilience. And we as Security Delta also work on this. So we did set up a recent year a cyber resilience center for the agriculture sector and also for the manufacturing sector here in the province of South Holland. We correlate this on national level, but we really make sure that companies are involved, that entrepreneurs are involved, and that the big or the ones that are more matured help the smaller companies because they're all connected and they need each other to have a more cyber resilience as an organization, as a sector, and in the end, as the Netherlands. So there's not one single sector that's more vulnerable than others. It's any sector that is digitalized, but we digitalize anything, so we become more vulnerable, and we need to deal with it.
You deal a lot with private sector organizations as well. What have you seen in the board room happening? Do you see that cyber has been taken a little bit more seriously than than the previous times, or not yet?
No, of course, the more your business is depending on the digital infrastructure or data, the more you have to deal with it. For sure, most boards, they said it was a decade ago an IT problem. They became aware that it's not only IT problem, it's multidisciplinary, as said before, but it's part of risk management and they need to deal with it at board level as well. Not only because the laws are coming in, the NIS2 will make them accountable at board level, but it's more and more that they became aware and need to deal with it. But still, there are so many entrepreneurs and also businesses and government agencies where the board has an overload and think, I don't know anything about it. It's IT. I'm more like an ostrich, putting my head in the sand and then hopefully it will come by. But we have seen, and also the numbers show that they're all vulnerable. It's not that you never get attacked. It's when you get attacked. So you need to deal with it also at board level to make sure that it's on the agenda, that you bring in the people and roles, that you deal with it, that you understand your risk, and that you do something about it. So yeah, it's we still need to take this to the next level, but it's getting more and more on board level, and it's good that it's going to be at board level.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that that people are becoming more aware in the boardroom and taking cybersecurity as a topic in the board. Because I think 5 years previously we never had these discussions, and it was always considered a cost center rather than an enabler. Right?
True. Yeah. Okay. But the really important thing is that it's not only being aware, because then you can still be the ostrich. You need to deal with it and just start, putting it in your risk management, your planning and control system, and every year, taking it to a higher level of resilience, and every time making steps. Not, it's never ending, but you need to take concrete steps to deal with these challenges.
Yeah, very good point, Joris. On this note, I'm going to talk about our next round, which is the rapid fire round.
Okay, yeah.
It's a round where I shoot questions at you and you need to answer them as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Yes?
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So, if you were not a director, what would you be?
A mayor of a city.
Yes, because you work next to.
Yeah, and I liked it. It's a really interesting job. Yeah.
That's a very good answer. Okay. Instant messages is safer than regular email. True or false?
In my opinion, false. It depends on what kind of instant messages it is. We use Signal because it's more privacy proof than WhatsApp. But on private life, I'm still using WhatsApp because it's really helping me. You need to make sure that you don't put the sensitive data out there, depending on the system. But it's not that, WhatsApp is better or less than email.
Yeah, okay. One thing that you love and one thing that you hate about your job.
Yeah, I love the diversity and connecting organization and people to make an impact. And what I dislike about my job is all the administration part, but it's part of it. We need to deal with it. So I will. I do.
Okay. What is the biggest cause of cyber attacks? Is it bad IT department? Is it human error or is it system failure?
Yeah, probably you will think I would say human error, but I give another answer.
Okay.
Sorry to do so. It's failure of the board. We just talked about it, how important it is. If the top is not aware and acting, the other ones are lost. So it's the board that is the most or biggest cost of cyber attacks.
No, that's very smart answer, I have to say, Joris. Okay.
Thank you.
Would you rather have a rewind button or a pause button on your life, and why?
Maybe a pause because I love my life. I like my job. I love my family. I have friends, and we're doing so many great stuff. At the beginning, I told you about we went to Paris and I've been able to go to different games in field hockey and beach volleyball. That feeling, the international crowd that was out there, doing sports and trying to strive for the best, but also the sportsmanships. I really like it. And doing this together with my family, I would love to take this feeling into a box and open it every other time that I don't feel so nice. But maybe the pause is the best. I like it.
That's beautiful. Okay. Why a lack of cyber skill talent is such a problem, according to you?
Yeah, sometimes people say digitalization or AI is we can solve any problem also in the field of cybersecurity, but AI needs to be trained and it's trained by people. So we need people, and as said before, we need people, teachers to train the talent. So in the end, it's about people helping others. So of course we can use the digital and AI possibilities, but we need the talent, and not only the tech people, but as said before, also the others. Having the multidisciplinary approach to cybersecurity.
Okay. Why are public networks dangerous?
They're not in general, but if you really have sensitive data, then I advise not to use the public network, but most public networks are protected as well. And for daily stuff, connecting to your friends, going to websites, you can use the public network. So, yeah.
Okay. Has the constant cybersecurity attacks or disruptions led to a burnout or fatigue in the boardroom?
Yeah, we talked about this. Some of them who are not IT minded, they are like the ostrich has said. But I think more and more they are more aware that they have to deal with it, and that's part of their responsibility. So, yeah. Probably it's a little bit true and a little bit false.
Okay. The last question.
Yeah.
One digital safety rule that you always follow.
Yeah. I need to answer quickly. I think it's none because I'm human. But then if I have to say one, I always use my seatbelt in a car. So that's maybe one. But of course, I'm risk aware because of my job as well. And on daily life, I admit and use most of the safety ideas and rules that are out there. But in the end, if I would say it quickly again, I would say none because, I'm human. We need to work on it. As organizations do need to work on their resilience, you have to do it as a person as well. And in my opinion, collaborate and use the right knowledge and experience of others that will help you be more resilient.
Lovely. On this note, it was just so lovely talking to you, Joris. I think you gave us a great overall picture of what Security Delta is doing. How can companies, collaborate with the government and benefit? Both of them can benefit out of this community, and how we can address the talent issue that we've been having for such a long time, and it's only growing. So I want to thank you for your time today. It was lovely. And if you have really liked this episode, then watch it, like it, and subscribe it. Thank you.